Congressman Byron Donalds joining us on Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News. How's that for a cover?
Hey, that's great. I appreciate it. But it was like a congressional baseball practice, like 6 a.m., and I went to the gym.
Congressional baseball practice, 6 a.m.? 6 a.m.? Who made that rule up?
Our coach, Roger Williams out of Texas, made that rule up.
What are they doing in Texas? Come on now. You can't do I feel like Joe Biden. Come on, man. How do you can't ask everybody to get up for 6 a.m. How did it go? Was it okay?
I'm getting my timing down in the cage. It's going to look good by the time the game comes.
By the way, so what position do you play?
Oh, I mean, he's talking about having me just DH and just hit the ball.
Okay.
Hit and run.
All right.
I'm like, all right.
I'm okay with that.
Whatever you need, Coach. Whatever we need. The 6 a.m. practices are different.
Whatever you need, Coach. I like that attitude. That's good. Hey, a couple of quick things. All right, debt ceiling talk. Hey, before we get into the details of it, am I right about this? I mean, are we talking about this being good for a year? I mean, is that are we? I hope I'm wrong about this, only because we're not doing this in D.C. again. We're not like signing things and kicking cans and making them show up at just the most opportune time so that we can go through this again. I mean, I hate that. It's not anybody on any particular side's fault exclusively, but it just feels like in general, the 30,000-foot, here we go again with the, hey, perfect timing. Could we just get this done? Oh, and can we cut some things? I guess that is another question.
Well, actually, so one of the things that we really wanted to see out of this kind of a deal was that there would be year one cuts and serious year one cuts, because people have heard the big headline, oh, we're cutting $6 trillion. But the $6 trillion is all cut in future years, and it never actually happens because the future Congress just says, nope, we're not doing that.
Right.
So we actually built into the plan year one cuts, estimated anywhere between $600 billion and $1 trillion, 1.2 actually, and that's when you go after those green subsidies in the Inflation Reduction Act. Getting rid of those really can ratchet up and get you to $1 trillion in actual cuts, because you're not putting that money out the door into all these phony Green New Deal companies, which is what Joe Biden has us on doing. So we're doing that, and then you're actually moving the budget baseline for discretionary spending back to 2022. And what that really means, this gets super wonky, but what that really means is that you would have non-defense discretionary spending at the 2019 levels, pre-COVID. You would leave defense spending at around 23 levels. And then you put a cap on defense spending going out, and you put a cap on overall defense spending going out. And that's the basis of how you get there. Then you put in energy independence. You put in the RAINS Act, which actually literally puts reins around the federal bureaucracy for putting out new rules to hamper the economic growth. They'll put work requirements in there. Like, that's all real-time stuff that has real implications year one. The out years, Drew, that's something we're going to have to fight out next year and in future Congresses to come.
Yeah.
So I don't get too much into the $4.8 trillion. It's a good headline number, but that's over a decade. I was focused on year one. A lot of my colleagues were focused on actual year one cuts, and we really achieved it in this plan.
Okay. Well, I mean, I understand that there's going to be battles that are going to take place in the future. And always the concern of many is, like you talked about, over the next 10 years, you're going to be cutting, what is it, $5 trillion or whatever. But how does that work with future Congresses? So I'm glad you brought that up, and, keeping an eye on all of this. And ultimately, then you got the Senate to deal with and what they're going to do and how everybody's looking at all of this. But there's no doubt that part of this, and a big part of this, is showing that Republicans are serious, because that's always going to be part of the equation. That, okay, you got a plan? Show us the plan. All right, here's the plan. We've got you keep talking about it. You keep saying we don't have one. We've got one. So now the ball's in your court. I mean, you feel like that's kind of the case, right?
Yeah, no, I do, because look, Chuck Schumer doesn't have 60 votes to move the plan out of the Senate. I've been telling the D.C. press, which is why nobody ever hears it, but I've been telling them for weeks, tell Chuck Schumer to come up with a plan. Does he have 60 votes? No. He doesn't even have 50 votes for a clean debt ceiling. He doesn't have it.
Right.
So the Senate, moving this over there, puts them on notice and the White House on notice. What's your plan? What's your strategy? But I've been very clear. Joe Biden wants this to go to the very last minute, because he wants some chump deal, and he's going to put pressure on all the members saying, oh, look at the economy, go look at the economy. And he's going to try to, of course, blame Republicans, and the media do the whole blame Republicans thing. But the truth on Capitol Hill is that Joe Biden could have extended the debt ceiling when they did the omnibus spending deal with Senate Republicans, still mad at them about that one, that they did on Christmas. They basically did a couple days before Christmas. He could have done it then. He didn't want to. He wanted this political fight. So my attitude's been, well, you want to fight? Now you got one. Because I'm not signing off on raising the debt ceiling without serious spending cuts and spending caps. What we're doing is obscene. And this moron of a president, I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. He wants to spend more money than we spent last year, and the pandemic is over. We should be going back to 2019 discretionary levels. Like I said, means every agency gets a cut. And I'm already hearing their stupid talking points about, oh, we're going after VA health benefits. No, we're not. We're going to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. But all of these woke, weaponized programs they've been sticking in the last couple of years, all that is done. All the woke stuff in the military, that stuff's done. House Republicans are pulling all that stuff out and moving most of the agencies back to 2019 levels, which is where they should be because the pandemic is over. And then we will manage DOD. We got to do some procurement reform. I've been talking with some of our defense guys about that we got to get DOD's budget under control. And, frankly, we just need a lean, mean fighting machine like G.I. Joe, man. Go kill the enemy, train our guys, recruit our guys, take care of them when they come home. That's it. All the other stuff needs to get out of the military.
Yeah. G.I. Joe, you're using gendered language. I don't know if we can do that.
Hey, man, Lady J was cool, man. I like Lady J. She was one of my favorites. Don't forget Scarlett. She was good, too.
Which, by the way, that's got to hurt for Democrats. It's like, wait, you mean all of the things and the policies that Republicans have put forward? Not every single one of them, but a good chunk. Like, actually, they help? Like, we didn't have the gas prices through the roof, and we didn't have issues with inflation, and we were pretty secure around the world, and, that kind of thing, right? That's their biggest fear.
100%. That's my message. And they come up with the stupidness of, oh, but the climate, oh, this, oh, that. And that's so dumb because the Democrat energy plan is to move all the mining to China, let China do it, and we get solar panels. Well, that's stupid because China is our number one adversary on the globe, so you're going to make us number two after them. That's not a strategy I think Americans support. And by every metric, the American people were thriving under Donald Trump's presidency, and they like to bring up COVID, but guess what? Now we know that they leaked the virus out of a Wuhan lab that killed over 7 million people around the globe. What president could have dealt with a leak from a lab, which, by the way, Tony Fauci and a couple other knuckleheads in our bureaucracy were funding when they shouldn't have been against federal law. So there's all kind of stuff that's going on here on the Hill. But at the end of the day, I keep it simple.
No. All right. We got to run. I know you got to run. All right. Love our conversations. Congressman Byron Donalds joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News.
All right.
We'll see you later. Okay, there he goes. He's fine. He's good. He did it right. I think he said it right.